How's it going, everybody? My name is Sean Millette, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about some careers that I would recommend on the civilian side for service members. Whether you are National Guard or active duty or even the reserves, at some point or another you're probably going to have a civilian career, whether this is after you get done with your active duty service or if you're in the National Guard or reserves and you need a full-time civilian job. I found a common theme between these jobs and careers. Really, it just comes down to the fact that some of what you do for that job, you'll learn in the military. Ultimately, one of the best things you can do to set yourself up for success in the future is to do an MOS that aligns with a civilian career. So while there are many MOSs that will teach you exactly how to do a civilian job, I kind of went ahead and am doing more of a, broader approach. And all of these jobs, I would say, pretty much anybody could do, because these skills that correlate to the jobs you learn at basic training. While I do think it's a good thing to choose an MOS that aligns with the civilian career, sometimes people want to do something that you can't do on the civilian side. One example of this is a combat engineer, which is what I currently do, and we get to blow stuff up 1 weekend a month. I decided with these careers that these are jobs mostly anybody could do as long as they've been in the service for however long. The first career I chose was law enforcement, something law enforcement related, such as a police officer. I just think that most service members would be pretty capable of handling a role like this. The Army does have the MOS of MPs, which is military police, and whether or not you chose to actually do that as an MOS, I feel like just about any service member would be able to get this job done. This could include things such as state patrol, border patrol, even just as simple as a city police officer. This career, based off of what I've heard, can pay really well depending on the city or county that you work for, and also depending on probably what state you are in. And I guess another thing too is I feel like there's a lot of job growth for this career. Obviously, it's not everyone's first choice, but I just think that a lot of the training you learn in the military goes hand in hand with what police officers learn. I suppose for number two, we might as well tie in the other emergency services. I feel like something that is medical related or even something firefighter related would work very well for most service members. As far as firefighters goes, I do know that a lot of people like to go the route that kind of correlates to almost exactly what you do in the National Guard or Reserves, where I believe you have like a drill weekend, maybe 1 weekend a month. Don't quote me on this. And then you can go kind of more part-time, and you have to go on, I think, probably a set number of calls each year, and you get a really good retirement out of being a volunteer firefighter. So obviously this is more of a part-time option, but I do believe you should be able to go full-time option within the firefighter career. So I think that would be something that would be very interesting for service members to go into. As far as medical goes, the Army does have the combat medic. So obviously you could go to that MOS and learn a lot more and probably get some really good certifications on different medical stuff that would really help you and boost the career if you wanted to go into that on the civilian side. But as far as general knowledge goes within the military, most service members already have some sort of first aid, CLS training that they've probably gone through at one point or another, either at basic training or through drill weekends, or if you're active duty, probably even more often than a National Guard soldier would go through that. So I just think that this is really good stuff, really good knowledge to have, and doing a career in that would be really beneficial to most soldiers. Another reason I say this is because doctors and different medical fields, they're willing to pay a lot of money if you find the right job, the right position, and I don't think there's ultimately no reason that most soldiers would not be able to do some sort of medical job. For the next career, I chose security guard, security officer, whatever you want to call it. This is more for the people that wouldn't quite want to work law enforcement or be a police officer. This is just kind of like the next step down. It's a pretty entry-level job, and usually the starting pay isn't too bad either. Where you can really make the money in this career is by going private security. Some people are willing to pay a lot of money, but usually you need a couple years of experience, so working for a bigger company and getting that experience in is really key to career growth. And for my last one, I was going to say any sort of blue-collar job, just kind of tying them all in together. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a bunch of MOSs within the Army that correlate to some of those jobs. But I was just going to say, I noticed that a lot of National Guard and Reserve members do this on the civilian side, and I think it's a good opportunity. It's pretty lucrative. The pay starting out is a little bit better than where you can get most other places, and usually they'll send you to some sort of schooling. You get that done after, I don't know, I think it's between like 2 and 4 years, and then you're making more money and you get pay raises quite often. The only downside to this is usually you end up working your body a little bit more than most other jobs. But anyways, guys, yeah, that's been the video. I just figured that I would help some people out. If you're stuck trying to look for a job, need some insight, I just figured this would be a good video. If you're in the service or looking at being in the service, these are all just jobs that correlate with a lot of the training you've already had, and it could really look good on a resume if you're in the military and you do one of these jobs. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.